Okay, so this is showing us how to set up and get started on our Reggae beatboxing project. So let's get going. We've got GarageBand open and a new project. We want to choose empty project. You can, if you like, set the tempo. I'm going to just tap a tempo at a sort of relaxed pace. You can change the key if you like. I'm going to leave it alone. And your audio input and output should say Avid Fast Track Solo and Avid Fast Track Solo. Mine says built-in output because I'm recording a video. Alright, so we'll choose that and we'll get started. Now the first thing that we need to do is set up a track to record vocals. So we're going to add a new track, this plus at the top of the track list. We want to make sure it says Avid Fast Track Solo here. And the input is input 1. Then once we've got something plugged into input 1 on our Avid Fast Track Solo box, that's going to come through. So I'm going to create that. Alright, now I need to turn up the level on that mic, so I'm going to talk into it and turn it up. In fact, I'll turn it back down a bit. Check if I've got some level. And then I'm going to record something into it. So I'm going to record myself just doing the basic beatboxing sounds of and to get the drum pattern underway. So here we go. I'm going to hit record and I'm going to record those three sounds. I'll just play that back to check it worked. Cool, not too bad. Alright, so my next job is to get in there and actually isolate each of those three sounds that I've just made. The bass drum sound, the snare drum sound, and the hi-hat sound. And to do that, I'm going to need to create some new tracks. I'm going to use a bit of a shortcut to do that. They need to be all audio tracks, so I'm going to hold Option, copy the one that I've already created, Audio 1. I'm going to create 3 more tracks. In fact, I might leave it, I'll create 3 more tracks. Alright. And then I'm going to isolate each of those sounds. I'm going to leave this original one where it was, but this bottom track, I'm going to double click on it and label it as the bass drum. My middle track, I'm going to double click it and label it as the snare. And my upper track, I'm going to label that as the hi-hat. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure that those sounds go on each of those tracks and stay there. Okay, so let's first of all do the bass drum. I'm going to zoom in, so I'm going to go up here, top right, and zoom in so that I can see that waveform nice and big. I want to line up the very start of it as close as I can. And if I want to be finicky about this, I'd even go closer. I'd go right in. Line up the start of that waveform as close as I can, and then from the edit menu, I want to split regions at playhead. Or, the other thing that I can do, and I'll go forward a bit, is I can use Command T, shortcut to do the same thing. Alright, I'll now zoom back out. And what I've done is isolate that one sound. So now I need to delete the bits that are before and after my bass drum. So that was this tiny little bit here. And the bit afterwards. And now drag it back to start on beat 1. So I've got, if I solo it, just the bass drum. Alright, good. So then the second one I want to get is my snare. That was the third sound that I made. So I'm going to go over here. Focus in on that snare track. I'm going to again zoom right in. Drag my view across so I can see where I am. There we go. And I'm going to line that up as close as I can. Start of the waveform, Command T. Make sure I've got the right track selected, Command T. And then if I go a bit after it, I'll give it a little bit of space so that I've got a bit of leeway there. Again, Command T. Zoom out. And I can delete the regions after and before. And to start off with, I'm going to put that just on a different beat in the bar. I'm going to put it on beat 2. So I've got my bass drum on beat 1, and then my snare drum on beat 2. Alright, good. Now we'll do the same thing for the hi-hat, and I'll just select that track, zoom in, find the start and the end of it, Command T, Command T, give it a bit of leeway again, not too much. And then I'll delete the regions before and after, and I've got my hi-hat sound as well. Alright, cool, so that's the way that we get started with that. Now the next thing is to create a basic rock beat, and I'm going to do that in a whole range of different ways. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on this one bar, the first bar of my piece, and I'm even going to get my cycle range to go exactly over that one bar so that that loops. And then I'm going to just create my basic rock beat. Now for that I want my bass drum to be, just adjust the mic again. I want my bass drum to be on beats 1 and 3. And I want my snare to be on beats 2 and 4. And I want the hi-hat to be every half a beat. So I'm actually going to shorten that slightly so that it is exactly a half a beat. And for this particular one, because it's exactly half a beat long, what I want to do is loop it. And it should work pretty well. Let's just check it out. Alright, so I've got a good sort of basic outline for my parts there. I'm just noticing that for whatever reason I don't have this all. Yep, there we go. So that's lining up with the complete bar. Now once I've got a bar, I can actually select it all like that. Again, Option, click, drag, and I can copy that bar. Alright, good. So now what I'm going to do is in the next video I'll show you how to take that basic rock beat and turn it into a reggae drum pattern.